Now, this mall right behind me is one of the major transformation projects going on in Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State. Now, it's also home to the Akwa Ibom Investment Corporation, whose mandate is to create an enabling environment for businesses like this to thrive. The Akwa Ibom Investment Corporation was introduced as a special purpose vehicle to facilitate industrial promotion and development in the state and to establish new industries and revive older ones and stimulate small and medium enterprises through the collaboration with the different agencies in government.
What I did as the newly appointed special advisor was to restructure the Investment Council, taking into account universal practice, international practice, and we then created an investment corporation, Akwa Ibom Investment Corporation, to do 3 or 4 things. Firstly, management of government portfolio investment. You operate like a holding company. We invest in subsidiaries and in other projects. We are to develop entrepreneurship in the state, which is basic. Without entrepreneurial capacity, you cannot move on to industrialization. We therefore have a duty to nurture the private initiative, private sector, OPAs in the state, organized private sector in the state, especially small and medium enterprises, micro, small and medium enterprises. And we also promote strategic industries establishment. And we relate with international agencies, local, national, regional, international agencies around the world. That's basically our mandate.
The corporation, which works closely with the Ministry of Economic Development and the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, focuses on what is called the Industrialization Roadmap, an articulation of the state government's policy objectives and strategy, which ensures the orderly implementation of these policies and programs. The roadmap will focus on specific key pillars of the state's economy that will drive growth.
Using local raw materials to promote industries in all parts of the state. Promoting industrial culture. You know, we are basically an agrarian state, agrarian economy. And there is a transition. To transit from agriculture to industrial culture requires reorientation of values. And that is very, very fundamental to us.
One of the key sectors is agriculture, of which a sizable percentage of its economy is dependent on. Aside from its food and cash crops and various tree species, the state has a number of rivers, creeks and streams that will provide a favorable environment for all year, all season agricultural activities, an area which has not been explored at all.
Akwa Ibom State has the most fertile land in the Federation. As a matter of fact, we have about 1.5 million of arable land available in the country. But the unfortunate thing is that the land is underutilized. Out of the 1.5, I would say that we are able to utilize only about 15%. And that is why we are changing our modus operandi. That is why we are calling for a change of method and practice of agriculture. That is why we are talking about moving from the subsistent, manual, labor-driven practice of agriculture to a mechanized commercial agriculture.
The state's policy on agriculture involves boosting annual growth, particularly in the production of cash crops, staple food, livestock and fish.
We are looking at the youth and the women, for instance. And we have what we call integrated farmer schemes, where we recruit young school leavers, get them attracted to agriculture. We recruit them, train them for a period of 5 weeks into various fields of agriculture, and after that training, we empower them with a sum of 500,000 naira for them to go into agribusiness of their choice. That program was started since 2004, And as I speak, we have trained and churned out over 4,000 graduates of the school. And out of that, 80% of them are in active practice of agriculture. We recruited over 4,500 women. We trained them for a period of 3 weeks. And on graduation, they were all empowered with the sum of 250,000 naira for them to go into agro-business of their choice. This is the strategy. We believe that if these women are empowered, we will end up eradicating poverty. We have end up increasing food production. We have end up putting food on the table. We have end up creating wealth. We have end up creating employment.
Besides its oil and gas attributes, Akwa Ibom is also rich in mineral deposits such as silver nitrate, clay, silica sand, limestone, salt, and coal, which are spread across all the local government areas. The state's plan is to support the exploitation of these natural resources for growth and sustainable development. However, a major part of its transformation agenda that cannot be ignored is its infrastructural development. Already, the state has partnered with notable names like Julius Berger and a few indigenous companies to complete the construction of new roads, remodel street traffic lights, construct 12 new bridges across major roads, and provide the intracity transport. But far from complete, the state has added to their list the construction of a much larger international airport with plans for a maintenance, repair, and overhaul hangar, the first of its kind in West Africa.
On land, the very basic one is because the motor bus mass transit, and then shortly before I came in, the state had embarked on massive purchase of cabs, what they call the mini intrastate, that within the Uyo metropolis, taxis, you know, and then of course the buses run the inter-local government and then inter-state. And as we progress, we also, that will definitely be the next level. We may go into rail, the monorail, you know, to also reduce pressure on the land.
Though the state is not known for its tourism attributes, it has begun construction on the Ibom Tropicana Entertainment Center, created to mirror the other world-renowned leisure spots like the Sun City in South Africa or America's famous Disneyland parks. The entertainment center is expected to create thousands of job opportunities in the States.
We have a complex that comes with a complete American-style shopping mall. We have a cineplex with 6 cinema viewing halls, all with state-of-the-art screens. And so on some of the cinema centers can seat up to 250 persons at a go. We have the 250 beds or bedroom hotel, the Hilton. We've signed an MOU with Hilton, by the way, and then we will be developing that 250 bedroom sitting on 15 floors coming next. Then we have a convention center that can seat 5,000 to 7,000 people, best case, worst case scenario, both cases. You know, what I mean by, maybe if you take it to the extreme, you can do 7,000. If you leave it at baseline, you can do 5,000. That will attract international conferences. We can host ECOWAS or anything in Akwa Ibom State once that's completed. We also have the wet and dry park coming out, where you have the lazy river and all of that, and we're fixing the rights right now.
Though Akwa Ibom's transformation agenda sounds good on paper, the state has had several challenges in its bid to get the project on the road.
Certain areas of economic policy are reserved for the federal government. We are just a state government. So we would have loved, I would say, to move a little bit faster in the areas of, say, power sector reform. For instance, Akwa Ibom has not been interested. We are generating power, but right now, up to this time, the regulatory environment didn't allow us to distribute. So we have that constraint.
Industrial culture. How do we get our people to accept and imbibe industrial culture? Industrial culture means a lot. Timekeeping, willingness to take risk, to be more open-minded, having a world view and not a local view. It may require international travel to see other civilizations and how things are done. So our number one constraint is getting our people to accept and imbibe industrial culture in order to move sustainably and successfully into industrialization. Second is funding. Funding, this is where government comes in. Two theories, private sector driven, absolutely. Government has no business in business. We said to start, government has business in business because of where we find ourselves now. So government intervention is desirable in certain cases. So that's part of the constraint. Third is limited market. But you know, Nigeria is a huge market, 150 million. But there are also what we call market segments, market segmentation or product differentiation.
But this project has seen significant interest since its launch 5 years ago, attracting large flows of foreign direct investment, especially in the area of oil and gas.
Recently, we attended an investment summit in Houston, United States, and we had, in fact, there was not enough time to accommodate all the foreign investors who were interested in making presentations and who have an interest in coming to Akwa Ibom. So I believe our strategy has paid off, and in the months and years ahead, we should be seeing some increased level of activity in this area.
Governor Akwa Ibom says his end game is to build a prosperous, highly educated, technology-driven, and ethically harmonious and pace-setting state in Nigeria. With this aggressive industrialization plan, the state seems to be well on its way to achieving this dream in the next decade.